everybody, Alex from AndroidCentral here with a very quick look at the Samsung Galaxy S2. This is another big dual-core Android phone. It's a 4.3-inch device with a Super AMOLED Plus screen. So let's take a look at the hardware. Down here we've got the usual 3 buttons. Along the side we've got the volume rocker, and on the other side is the power button. We head around the top, we've got the speaker jack, and down the bottom is the USB port. If we take a look around the back, we've got an 8-megapixel camera with LED flash. Around the front there's also a 2-megapixel front-facing camera. So let's take the back off and see what's back here. We've got a SIM card slot as you'd expect, and next to the battery we've got the micro SD card port. So if we clip the back panel back on, we'll boot the phone up and go into a bit more depth about the hardware. So this is a very slim, very light phone, weighs something like 116 grams, and that's pretty impressive considering the amount of hardware that's actually packed into here. We've got Samsung's new dual-core Exynos processor, which is running at 1.2 GHz. It's backed up by a full gigabyte of RAM, and you've also got 16 gigs of internal storage. And of course you can expand that by adding a micro SD card. Software-wise, we're running Android 2.3 Gingerbread, and on top of that we've got Samsung's TouchWiz UI. Latest version of that's version 4.0. So we're pretty much booted up now, and to unlock the phone we just grab the lock screen, pull in any direction, and here we are. We've got some initial startup stuff on the go here, but once that's dealt with, we'll see just how fast this phone is. And there we go, flipping from screen to screen, and the launcher is absolutely silky smooth. Even when there's stuff running in the background like network connections and media scanning, there's absolutely no noticeable slowdown in the UI whatsoever. And this is something of a running theme with this phone. It's really difficult to get it to lag in any noticeable way at all, and that's fantastic. So taking a closer look at the screen, we can see everything looks really great. Colours are nice and vibrant, the screen itself is really bright, and viewing angles are excellent as well, as you'd expect from a Super AMOLED display. Like I said, we've got TouchWiz 4.0 on here, and that gives you access to up to 7 home screens, customizable with some Google and Samsung widgets. You can also jump out and move home screens around too, which is nice. This is something that's in HTC Sense too. Now we're going to take a quick look in the settings menu and see exactly what we're running. And as you can see, Android 2.3.3, so very nearly the latest version of Android, and to be honest, we'd expect this to get 2.3.4 before long anyway. Jumping back to the launcher, let's take a look at some TouchWiz features. So as usual, to customize your home screens, all you do is long press anywhere on an empty home screen. What's a bit different though is this little menu that pops up down the bottom. It gives you access to widgets, wallpapers, live wallpapers, folders, and that kind of thing. You also get these quick settings buttons in the notification area. This is something that's becoming a lot more common on phones from a lot of different manufacturers. Still a really nice touch though, and something that is definitely a welcome addition. Next up, we've got the all-important browser test. This is a very important app on any smartphone, and one that really impressed us with its speed on the Galaxy S2. So we're going to start by taking a look at the front page of AndroidCentral and see how the Galaxy S2 copes with all the images and multimedia on there. Something else you might notice right here is the keyboard. We've got swipe out of the box on this phone, but there's also a standard Samsung keyboard which works pretty well too. So it looks like we're loaded. Let's have a bit of a scroll around. It looks like even while the page is still loading, scrolling is still really smooth. Same goes for pinch to zoom functionality. And on the whole, the entire browser experience is really responsive and an absolute joy to use. You may notice a little bit of checkerboarding on more image heavy sites, but that tends to disappear after about a second or so, and that's not something that's really going to get in the way of your browsing. Generally speaking, the Galaxy S2's browser is mostly stock Android. There are a few small differences, like the interface for switching between tabs like you just saw. There's also the option to set a different brightness level for the browser compared to the rest of the phone, which is nice. So we're going to leave the browser now and take a look at an interesting little app called Keys Air. This is similar to the Desktop Keys application. It lets you manage all the content on your phone, except it works over a local network instead. So it's just a case of entering the address into a browser and you can see everything on your phone, which is fantastic. Next, let's head into the app drawer and see what's preloaded on here. We've got a Vodafone branded Galaxy S2, so as you can see we've got some 360 stuff on here, some Vodafone 360 apps. This is their integrated system for buying games, apps, music, and keeping track of contacts and that kind of thing as well. So this may be something you'll want to use if you're a Vodafone customer, but if not, you can easily uninstall most of these apps through the usual application management area. Besides that, you'll find the usual TouchWiz apps on here as well. Some of these are just reskinned stock Android apps, others are a little different, and we're going to take a look at one now which lets you edit photos that you've taken on the phone. And here it is. You start off by selecting a photo from the gallery, and then you can apply any number of effects or crop the image or do other kinds of photo manipulation. Well, we've got one here, and we're going to mess around with contrast levels and maybe add a few blur effects as well. And while this is pretty simple and easy to use, there's actually a surprising amount of functionality included in there. So you can crop certain parts of the image or move images around, retouch certain areas. And while it's not going to replace a dedicated photo editing app like Photoshop, it is a great way of having a little extra control over photos that you've taken on the phone. There's a similar app for handling video content too, so you get full basic video editing capability on this phone as well, which is awesome. Some phones like the HTC Sensation let you trim video content that you've already recorded, but this is a step beyond that. There are all kinds of different filters and special effects that you can apply, which is a really nice touch. So there you go, that's about it for our quick look at the Samsung Galaxy S2. This phone's out now in Europe and Asia, and will be coming to North America in the months ahead. We're going to spend a bit more time playing around with this phone, and we'll have a full review written up for you shortly. Thanks for watching.